There's a lot of advice in the YouTube sphere and all over the place, internet, books, everything that talk about how to become a man in today's world. And I think this is something that throughout history this was instinctive. A lot of cultures knew how to create men out of boys, just by um, you know how they used to live and the certain routines and things that they used to do, ceremonies and everything. And the current advice focuses a lot on how how to control your behavior, or how to behave in a particular way that would emulate what a so-called real man would do. And I don't think this really works. I think we need to look back into history and into even present times of people that know what they're doing in order to become a man. And I just sort of I titled this video how to become a man, because this type of thing is interesting to me, and I obviously am a man, or becoming a man anyway. And because it is misleading in the sense of I'm not really just talking to men. I believe, I mean, this is all my opinion, you're welcome to disagree, but I believe this applies to everyone. So what we're really talking about is how to become a true adult in a world full of childish adults. A lot of people, I don't think, really mature past their teenage years emotionally, and they just sort of stay that way. And it's kind of so common these days with people that it's just normal. It's very rare to find a so-called true adult. And so yeah, this is what I've been thinking about, and how to actually become a true adult or become a real man, however you want to say it. It can be for men, women, whatever. So yeah, like I said before, the current advice focuses on how to control your behavior, how to move, how to think, how to speak, all that sort of thing. But I just can't imagine controlling my behavior to act in a certain way, an alpha male or whatever they call it, for the rest of my life, to pretend that I am this thing that I deep down truly feel that I am not, whatever this thing may be. I think a true adult, or a real man, is something that is individual. It's about expressing truth, expressing who you are, overcoming certain things, and that expression may be different for each person. And these sort of media representations of what a real man isn't accurate, and it can be different for each person as they come into their own, as they turn into this true adult. So throughout history, like I said before, cultures instinctively or even traditionally knew what to do. They took men away from the women, and then they put them under a great amount of stress and pain and pressure and that sort of thing, until they become real men. And what I was thinking about this, and what they are ultimately doing, is causing so much pain and suffering to a boy that he learns how to detach from the pain and suffering. And I believe a real man or a true adult is a person who has a mastery of emotions. Is misleading, because we don't really ever master our emotions, but we do overcome them in the sense of not identifying with them and allowing them to flow. So we are able to make a reasonable or rational decisions in the moment rather than emotional decisions. And I think to become a real man or a true adult, our reactive emotions are largely overcome, and we detach from them, and we're able to just conduct ourselves in a reasonable way in intense situations and in most things. So if you put someone under enough stress, eventually you get there. I was listening to a podcast the other day talking about Navy SEALs. Was the Jocko podcast, and he was talking about how they would put, to make leaders, they would put them under so much pressure, and eventually they would just watch when they detached, rather than getting caught up in all the pressure, they would suddenly detach, and that was when they knew their job was done, that they were now a leader. And that's very similar to along the lines of what I'm talking about. We look at throughout history, war would have done it as well for men. We've always been, for whatever reason, humans have always been at war for thousands of years, probably more. And men go to war, and the pain and the difficulty and the stress of it eventually teaches you how to detach and overcome these reactive emotions. Not that they disappear, but how to act and detach from them so you realize they're not you. You are present energy. So there's some options, I guess. As an adult, you can choose the option that you want. Suffer until you overcome the suffering, or just suffer until you transcend the suffering is another way to put it, and keep putting yourself under stress until you learn how to be present with your emotions and let them flow so you don't identify with them anymore. I believe the most direct way is through working with trauma. So I've explained this in another video, a couple of other videos before, but in terms of watching what you react to, finding where the sensations are in the body. So say, for example, you feel sad or you feel angry and you feel tension in the stomach or the chest or the jaw, and it feels like the label anger, or it feels like angry energy. Then you just watch the sensation and see what thoughts come out of it. It might be present thoughts of what recently happened. Each thought, each picture of a thought, you just watch the thought and then let it flow. Keep watching that one thought and then let it flow until it disappears. And then do that with each thought that comes out of it. Sometimes you get thoughts of maybe your childhood, and then you're getting into the actual traumas that are stored there. And then keep looking back towards the sensation. Eventually the sensation changes, moves, or completely disappears. And you keep doing that, and this eventually sort of dissolves your traumas into present energy, and you start to be able to just disidentify with any reactions that come up. You start to bring present energy to every aspect of your life. And I believe this is a true adult, and this, as I said before, is how to become a real man.